What up? It's your boy T-Bear on the reaction. Day Mr. First Friday. Time for the meat and potato of First Friday, which is the Dead Meat Kill Count. And we're going back to the Tremors series. Area 1 Tremors 3, which came out way later in 2001. Back to Perfection. So we're back to I'll wait till he's in. I'll give you his name though, but you know James is on break. We doing this. So right now they're up to the 5th one. I'm assuming I'm looking, or the 6th one possibly. Let me double check. I think they're actually up to the 6th one now of Tremors. No, the 6th. We're up to the 6th one, which came out in 2018. Wow. Yes, the last one we had came out in 1996. That was the second sequel. This third one came out in 2001, and going forward. So I wonder if the 6th one, the Cold Day Hell's gonna be the very last one. But we still got ways to go, you know, in between. We're doing this, and as well as the Friday 13th recount, and of course the usual kill counts roll 2, which next week will be the redemption poll. Just to get your heads up. So anyway, without further ado, let's check out Tremors Back to Perfection. Let's get it.
Gonna film a Tremors kill count. What the fuck?
Oh, hey man, sorry. Forgot to tell you, the set's under construction.
Oh,
We're
wow.
getting it revamped.
Where am I supposed to film?
That is not my problem. See ya!
Ooh.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm 2017 James A. Janice, and I'm taking things back to where it all started, just like our movie Tremors 3 Back to Perfection, released in 2001. After Tremors 2 found success on home video, another film was greenlit with the original creator.
Okay, I get what he's doing right here, because James D had that simple background before when he used to do it. That's why.
Here's returning, unfortunately with a significant alteration. Brent Maddock and Steve Wilson wrote a story outline with producer Nancy Roberts, but had to pass off script writing duties to TV writer John Welpley. Welpley, in my opinion, struggled to find the proper balance of horror and comedy that's so important to this franchise, though his work here is better than what he'd do in parts 5 and 6.
At least the gland
I thought it was Jamie Kennedy.
wasn't in the prostate.
Oh, God. Tremors 3 also faced an insanely short 22-day shooting schedule. And to put things in perspective, a normal movie shoots about 5 to 8 script pages a day. Tremors 3 shot 15 to 20. Woo!
I'm amazed that people stayed friends. I think it's a tribute to the fact that there were a lot of great people involved, and most of us really liked each other.
This led to some stiff performances under the direction of previous writer Brent Maddock, who replaced Steve Wilson from part 2. As for the budget, it was actually increased by $2 million. But somehow this film feels cheaper than the rest, especially the sound mix, which had a lot of ADR due to nearby highway noise. But maybe that extra money went to all the CGI they used, which is a whole other can of Precambrian worms. Tremors 3 Back to Perfection does what its title says. It takes us back to the original town, 11 years since the last graboid sighting. Now the worms have returned, along with a whole bunch of Tremors 1 characters. Miguel, Nancy, and Mindy are joined by newcomers Desert Jack and Walter Chang's niece, Jody. Oh, and that twerp Melvin also returns. But writing this script, I realized he's so insignificant, I could leave him out of the kill count entirely. Sorry, Melvin.
You asshole!
But something I'm not sorry about is getting a real sponsor for today's episode with Raycon. I just got my pair of Raycon's everyday earbuds, and much like my Jamesy doppelganger, I am loving them. I've been using them to listen to music while putting up this here set, and while getting into peak kill count host condition. And I can even make calls anytime with a built-in Bluetooth mic.
Oh,
Plus,
Lord.
their optimized gel tips keep them secure in your ear holes through any
Goodness.
tremors you might experience. Not to mention, with 32 hours of battery and 8 hours of playtime, you'll never get bored when you're stranded on any residual boulders. All that, and they're half the price of other premium audio brands, but they sound just as good. It's no wonder they have over 48,000 5-star reviews. So shop now at the link in the description, or go to buyraycon.com/deadmeat, where you can unlock exclusive deals for 15% off your Raycon order. Will this third stage in evolution be enough to make our returning cast of perfectionists extinct? Let's find out. And you know what? I'm sorry. I don't know how the hell James wore this. I'm gonna change. Mwah. Oh, sweet flannel, how I missed you so. All right, let's get to the kills. The movie begins with a Scream 3 fonted title card that they leave on just long enough to trick people into thinking this is the first film. It is not. It's dawn in El Chaco, Argentina, where a news crew meets up with a man who ain't afraid of no ghosts. Or graboids, for that matter. Burt Gummer. Once again, and only able to be played by Michael Gross. He explains that a graboid in the area evolved into 6 shriekers instead of the 3 seen in part 2. A mistake the creators actually admit to in the Stampede Entertainment website's comprehensive FAQ, which they still update to this day, and I highly recommend you check it out. After gorging themselves, the Shriekers become a very large horde that I'm not looking forward to counting.
Patience, mi amigo.
You're right. Let's see how many you actually kill with Jesus! A twin-mounted Browning M2 HB anti-aircraft gun? Woo! Way to step up your game, Bert. This was an actual World War II turret mount that was brought in and fully controlled by actor Michael Gross in this scene. But first they had producer Steve Wilson test it out for him.
Took beer, the dust rose up around me. It was like, sitting in the center of hell somewhere.
And that hell is unleashed on some reused and flop shots of CGI Shriekers, as well as one good practical dummy kill. As the dust settles, we see a swath of slaughtered Shriekers.
Any questions?
Yes, how many did you kill? You know what? Don't answer that. We have editor Josh for situations just like this. Josh?
Damn it. All right, in this wide shot, I counted 69 Shriekers. Nice.
Oh, grow up, Josh. You know what? I'm just gonna add the 2 cage Shriekers that I forgot to count in Tremors 2, and we're gonna put 71 on the log.
But that's a different movie. You can't just count what...
This is my show for now, Josh. And with my new set here, there's no Jamesy boy around to stop me.
He's doing his thing.
Oh, shit, he's calling. We return to Perfection, Nevada, now completely rebuilt in Valencia, California instead of Lone Pine. Miguel drives back into the franchise, once again played by Tony Gennaro. And though Walter Chang is long deceased, his market has outlived him. It is now owned by his niece Jody, played by Suzanne Chuang. She's embraced Perfection's graboid fame with Tremors, the merchandising. You got Tremors the Frisbee, Tremors the Oven Mitt, Tremors the Flamethrower. Whoops, sorry, that's not till part 7. Oh, but she does have some amazing...
So it is a part 7, wow. So I got a long way to go with this franchise as well too, just as much as the Friday 13 recount.
Comic books spoofing the Dark Horse Alien vs. Predator series, only with more spelling errors. Bert shows Jody the fancy new watch he got from his job in Argentina. It sets its time using ultrasonic frequencies.
Well above our normal range of hearing, but it'll give a dog fits.
Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off! Since Earl and Grady actually opened up their Monster World theme park they talked about in the second film, we're stuck with a new hunky sidekick. One that has both names of Kate's love interests from Lost.
Jack Sawyer.
He's played by Sean Christian, who was on As the World Turns, and as my fiance informed me, played Josh on Charmed.
Oh,
Jack
yeah.
uses those charms to con tourists on Desert Jack's graboid adventures, including one played by producer Steve Wilson's son, Matt Seth Wilson.
Whoa!
Simmer down there, you ska punk, and enjoy the show. That includes a fake seismo monitor and fire extinguisher dust clouds courtesy of Jack's partner in crime, Buford. In a fun homage to the original, Buford pulls on some ropes that knock over signposts that somehow look crappier than the ones Val and Earl built. Maybe they need some more nails. Jack gets everyone out of quote-unquote danger with a flick of a switch and a slogan that rhymes.
All right, just
That's
stick
the lady from
make it
Wanted.
back.
After the tour, Jody scolds him for not having a better catchphrase or business plan.
I try not to plan too much.
Oh boy, you are not gonna do well in this franchise.
Look at the old school iMac right there.
The next day, we see some more familiar faces. Nancy Sterngood, again played by Charlotte Stewart, and her daughter Mindy, played by the brick that drowned Ben Folds, Ariana Richards. She's there with the pants she's
it
fixed
is
up
her,
for
yeah.
Jack. I mean, at that point, I'd just throw them away. That's right. New set, new rules.
Something's wrong. Damn it, Zoran!
Mindy
Zoran.
welcomes Bert back to Perfection. She too is a recent returnee, having broken up with her boyfriend Angus, dropped out of college, and now works at the Arby's in Bixby. Bixby's back, baby! Mindy Poe goes away and Jack heads over, amazed that their gasoline is finally lead-free. He tries to get Bert to be part of the tour, but Bert ain't interested, since Jack lacks any real family ties to this town.
Wow.
During this exchange, there's a cute moment with one of the tourists.
Mom, take a picture of me with the tremor. They're called graboids.
Ha! I told you, Mom! This tourist mom is played by Mary Gross, a former SNL cast member and real-life sister to Michael Gross, whom she thanks for letting her be in his movie.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goober.
Well played, sis. Well played. Bert gives Jack one final rejection as Buford the lapdog Mannon shows up in his dirt buggy to be a dirt bag towards Mindy. Jack scolds him with his best foghorn leghorn burn,
Boy, you're about as sharp as a bowling ball.
before taking another group of rubes out, including a man dressed as Rhonda LeBeck from the first film. Looks like geologist cosplay goes both ways. Their amateur hour show is given a boost of credibility when a real graboid attacks Buford from all sorts of wrong angles. A refurbished practical graboid emerges with Buford's legs dangling from its gaping thresher maw. He's then sucked into the graboid's gullet, never to perv on Mindy again. Amanda LeBeck makes sure to take some photos, because if there ain't a picture, then it didn't really happen. Not fully filled by his amuse Buford, the graboid unleashes its buried puppeteer on Jack. He and Mindy are chased onto a rock where they throw some bottles and a fucking wisp of paper to distract the graboid, allowing them to make an escape. Back in Bert's goddamn rec room, he monitors a seismograph and lets everyone know he's got one! The graboid alarm blares, interrupting Jodie's complaints about her new graboid statues.
The shipment of graboid has 4 tentacles instead of 3. They look ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. Everyone gathers at Graboid HQ, where we learn that there are 3 graboids in the area, according to Bert's high-tech geophone monitoring system.
It's all based on Rhonda LeBeck's geological research.
Oh, you might want to pick up that name you just dropped. After that, it's time for a planning scene. What new and interesting ways are we going to fight these pesky Precambrian prowlers? Oh, by graboid fishing with our sea cars. It seems a little familiar, but hey, the Matrix taught me one thing. Deja vu means that there's an agent around.
Agent Frank Statler.
Right on cue. He's here with Agent Rusk and a paleontologist named Dr. Merlis to enforce a ban on graboid hunting due to their endangered status. They want to try and capture one alive for study, but Bert argues they'll evolve into shriekers before that can happen. Statler says not to worry. The government will happily relocate everyone out of perfection and compensate them fairly.
Eminent domain. And people call me paranoid.
A nice callback to Bert's fears from the first film.
Eminent domain.
That night, Bert's seismo monitor goes off, so he grabs his Grizzly Big Bore single-shot 50 caliber Browning machine gun rifle and heads outside to check the perimeter, which is now surrounded by a solid concrete graboid barrier of his own design. It's a much better design than the one used for our first ever fully CGI graboid. Yikes. But I do not blame the VFX team for this reptile dysfunction. The CGI was handled by Linda Drake, Kevin Kuchaver, and their team at Himani Productions. The budget only allowed for 40 effects shots, but they ended up needing 80 shots to finish the film. So Kevin and Linda and their team had to complete them on their own time. Plus, they had to transfer all the digital effects back onto 35mm film, a costly process that led to even more issues. This being their first film, they really went above and beyond, but working basically for half the pay, not everything could be perfection. At Chang's, the men in Blach return from an unsuccessful graboid hunt. Did you check the subway? I know that's where Jeff lives. Man, that Agent Rusk looks so familiar. Oh shit, it's the same guy that played Carmine the construction worker from part 1. You know what? Have a beer to commemorate your long dead Mario brother. Jack convinces the G-Men to enlist Bert's help in catching a graboid. In exchange, they agree to let Bert keep his home. So guess it's back to graboid fishing again. Can we get something new in this franchise, please?
Hold on a second. He not only looks familiar as from the first one, I feel like I've seen other stuff too. Let me see something real quick. Tremors 3. I can't say. Let's Agent Charlie. What other stuff he been on? Let me see what other stuff he been on. Like I feel like I've seen more stuff. I don't know. He looks familiar. But anyway, let's keep going.
Oh, what do you got there, Dr. Merlis? A graboid egg. Oh, pretty cool. Even if yours is broken. Mine's still unhatched. Bert's license plate returns, as does the Grady chain from part 2, which they'll use to lure a graboid out into the open. They're trying to get it to swallow a big bag of Trankerade. But before they can do that, this stock footage of a graboid from the first film literally barrels into Bert, and in a shocking twist, ingests our franchise hero. Of course, if you've seen any of the posters for the next 4 movies, you'll know that this is just a clever fake out. Bert tells Jack he's running out of air and needs him to corral the graboid towards his graboid wall. So, Desert Jack's off. I meant he left. He left on a high-speed chase that sends him through a fence and our first graboid to the hunting law. With the graboid dead and Bert running out of time, Jack gets a groovy plan and starts digging like a moron before going all Ash Williams on the beast in a fun and schloppy sequence, which actor Sean was a little freaked out about.
Don't let me hit this guy with this chainsaw because my life will be over.
Jodie shows up for no good reason, and Bert is rebirthed into the franchise in a fun yet uncomfortable scene for Michael Gross.
It was cold. It was a little like being in a grave. It was a little scary.
But that didn't stop this professional from completely nailing the scene.
I prefer We keep this to ourselves.
Truly living up to the name, Michael Gross. Miguel joins up with Bert, Jody, and Jack as they try to reach the government boys last seen chasing a graboid.
They were chasing it. It wasn't chasing them. I don't like that.
And I don't like that Dr. Merlis just got here looking like he came from a foam party in Ibiza. Turns out he sprayed himself with a fire extinguisher to stay cold when confronted with a bunch of shriekers, adding another graboid to the hunting log since it died during shrieker birth. Merlis then channels slow-ass motherfucking Pedro as he takes forever to explain where the other agents are.
Russ, they're torn to pieces.
And with that, we can add them to the count, eaten off screen by a couple of screamy screamies. At least we've got Dr. Merlis around who can die in the sun like a wad of melted ice cream. Hey Bert, do you think the Dead Meat fans will like this lame trifecta of deaths? Yep, me neither. Bert uses infrared tracking to find that the shriekers are already multiplying. They head off to a box canyon while Mindy and Nancy just head off to a box. At the canyon, they get ready to start planning when they're visited again by the CGI-oid. That's just Spanish for white. Okay, whatever. El Blanco is based on an idea for an unproduced Tremors TV show Wilson and Maddock developed in 1993, which saw Val and Earl as monster hunters fighting tree octopi, killer shrimp, ghost Sasquatches, hillbilly vampires, and a great white worm. Later, during the actual series, El Blanco got the full practical treatment thanks to K&B Effects. El Blanco does his little wormy dance, then goes back to being a buoy in the sand. With their walkies on the car, there's only one thing for them to do now.
Yes, we just wait.
For what exactly? Is it a mostly 80-yard conversation about clouds? Because here it is.
Most people prefer your dramatic cumulonimbus clouds. But I've always had a weakness for a cirrus.
Yeah, not worth the wait. Well, El Blanco tries to liven things up by cross-dissolving and hotboxing Bert. But even high, this scene is boring AF. Professor Miguel says this graboid reminds him of an albino goat he once had. The goat couldn't have kids, so that must be why El Blanco hasn't turned into Los Shriekers. Just to be clear though, being albino does not make you sterile. It makes you emit EMPs and hang out with Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, bet you forgot powder was a thing, or never knew it was a thing. Day turns to night, and night turns to dawn, as they keep waiting for God knows what. For a movie that likes to retread the original, they seem to have forgotten that graboids will wait you out until you die of dehydration.
Thirst.
Yeah, I know, that too. Jack and Jody share a Val and Rhonda snuggle moment that even Jody thinks is unearned. Bert needs to get to his radio, so he uses a fishing pole Miguel made, which for some reason he didn't do at any point the day before. Bert the Bassmaster snags the radio and calls back to Mindy and Nancy, who've been sleeping in a box all night, like the Max. He asks them to create some noise over the radio, so Mindy plays some cost-effective, royalty-free rock music. Fed up with the lack of recognizable needle drop music, Bert chucks the walkie and El Blanco chases it. Bert and Miguel grab some guns and send his Ford exploring on its own. El Blanco chases the truck as Bert hands out guns to his moderately competent companions.
You do know which end the bullets come out of.
Yes, the end you're pointing directly at your crotch, Jack. Careful now, wouldn't want to end up like an albino goat. They initiate their shriek and destroy mission with a pipe bomb, which according to Stampede's website was originally supposed to be Bert's cannon he talked about in Tremors 1.
Confused with that. Cannon fuse. What the hell you use it for? A cannon.
But, you know, budget. In the explosion's aftermath, it appears the Shriekers suffered a total protonic reversal, because there ain't nothing left. Except for these husks, similar to a snake when they shed their skin.
I don't like that.
Well, too bad, Bertie buddy, because just like in comedy, graboids always come in threes. Jody spots something behind the fence, giving us our first look at the next evolution in graboid technology. The Ass Blaster! A name I'm surprised they got away with, since this is the only PG Tremors movie.
That's what Lily called. Oh, and the fake ass about to come out. Oh boy, what he about to do now?
And how did they get that name? Well, that would be Jody taking after her Uncle Walter.
Oh, ass blasters. How's that?
Sounds like a porno film.
I'm Goran Zavojic, owner of Planet Zorgan Arcades. And if you kids love the Graboid arcade game, then I got a new game I can't wait to play with you. It's called Ass Blaster.
Planet Zorgan Arcades closed for extended parole renovations.
The Ass Blasters were designed by the thrice-returned Tom Woodruff Jr. and Alec Gillis, who drew inspiration from real-life bombardier beetles.
Who creates a mixture of organic chemicals within its own body that, when they are combined, they become explosive, and it's used to propel the beetle from one point to another.
They were brought to life with a combination of CGI and practical puppets. And I will say, I think for its time, the AB CGI turned out much better than the GB CGI, thanks partially to on-set references from Amalgamated Dynamics.
The textures for the creatures were all taken off of real photographic stills that we shot on the set, and also we went to their shop and photographed as well.
So now that these suckers can fly, they separate Miguel from the rest of the group, who fire at a bunch of pixels till they land a hit. The blaster launch pad McQuacks its way to the ground, but not before unceremoniously knocking Miguel off the cliff to his death. What a shitty end to Professor Miguel. Ugh, I'll miss you, you albino misunderstanding bastard. Distraught over the cattle rancher's death, the ass blaster ends its own life by impaling itself on a fence. Back in town, Mindy and Nancy are evicted from their box and chased into the store. The practical effects team bursts through the door and makes a cameo appearance. But since the puppet fails to get in, this ends up being a job for CGI! The ass blaster terrorizes Mindy and Nancy at the deli counter without taking a number. Mindy then tosses a ham into the fastest microwave on the planet because after 3 seconds, she's warmed up a hammy distraction for the blaster's heat sensors. The monster turkey gobbles up the worst pizza toppings as Mindy and Nancy hide in a very warm-looking freezer. Hey Mom, remember when I trapped a raptor in a freezer? Remember? Bert and the gang discovered that the dead ass blaster was carrying a graboid egg inside its belly.
So it's a graboid to a shrieker. It's one of these here new things, and finally back to a graboid.
Thus completing the graboid life cycle and this franchise. Oh shit, that's right, there's 4 more. I don't know what's left. Swimming, doing someone's taxes. If Bert's there, I'd still watch it. The ass blaster starts leaking Malox and barbecue sauce with explosive results. This is the reactive stomach acid used to ignite their farts and blast off so they can spread their eggs over long distances. Our science lesson concludes when another ass blaster is heard in the distance. So it's time to make a plan to hide some body heat. They find a mattress of convenience and make their way across the desert, avoiding detection all the way back to Bert's. Say it with me now. Goddamn rec room! Bert tries to radio Nancy and Mindy next to some white bricks, calling back to the graboid attack from the first film. A music cue then tells us it's time for another beat of forced romance. What are you doing, movie? Jody's not a geologist. Romance only happens with geologists. Before this non-geologist can express her true feelings for Jack, she's cock-blocked by an ass blaster. Say that 5 times fast. Not in front of your parents.
No.
The pre-Cambrian party crasher shows off his new hat while everyone heads into a nearby safe room for another MRE commercial.
What is all this? Food?
Better. MREs, most dense, most nutritious food known to man.
The ass blaster uses his butane butt as a torch to get inside. So Bert and the gang use a super cool Scooby-Scooby-Doo escape hatch to get away. But wait, what happens if the ass blaster eats all those delicious and nutritious MREs?
Ass blaster blitzkrieg.
Best line in the movie. If the ass blasters are like shriekers, when they eat enough, they'll multiply like jackass rabbits. Bert prevents this with a well-placed gas can as he makes his escape. The plan works and Bert's place goes up in a massive amount of flames, adding another ass blaster to the hunting log. While the explosion continues, Nancy radios and says that unlike shriekers, food is a weakness of ass blasters. Turns out if they eat too much, they go into a food coma. That means everything would have been okay if they'd eaten all those MREs Bert just blew up.
What kind of supreme being would condone such irony?
I'm gonna go with Alanis Morissette from Dogma. Don't you think? The explosion attracts more ass blasters, and the human peoples head to a nearby junkyard in Bert's sentient night boat. Hope there's a canal nearby. Somehow they make it across the relatively flat plains and crash the boat near a billboard for that Melvin subplot I'm ignoring. They're spotted by a roosting blaster and take shelter in the junkyard. Jack acts like a brave little toaster boy, spotting the AB and pushing a refrigerator onto it. But he's not dead, he's just pining for the fjords. And he'll be back later. With the Great Bert Fire of 2001 having dispersed, the ass blasters turn their attention to our heroes, forcing them to flee to a nearby porta potty for safety. What a weird angle for a toilet seat. Anyway, inside, Bert assesses their shitty situation. They've got no guns, and their combined body heat will make this outhouse glow like a furnace soon. So, what's the plan, Jody?
We just run like hell.
No, Jody. Running is what you do when a plan fails. Remember your lessons from Earl Bassett Community School. You know, from the movie Slither. That's right, James Gunn is a Tremors fan too. Oh yeah! Together they decide to ignite the flammable chemicals in the blaster's belly by making some potato guns to launch flaming arrows at the creatures. And thus they disperse to shop for ingredients. While shopping, Jody is attacked and flees to a nearby trailer filled with gasoline for some reason. Why the hell are people throwing out gasoline? I live in LA. Do you know how expensive that is? She traps the blaster inside, and when it tries to launch its way out, the gas ignites and blasts it onto our hunting log with a delightfully ridiculous cartoony effect.
family.
Jack finds some rags and arrows while Bert visits Nestor's trailer from the first film. Oh nice, they unflipped the bitch. Anyway, he finds some fuel thanks to Nestor's secret alcohol problem. They then wait around for no goddamn reason until it's night again, when they build the guns in a fun MacGyver-like sequence. Ooh, laser pointer sights adhered with Jodie's earrings. See, this is what I love about the Tremors films. The kind of ingenuity that adheres to Bert's motto.
Doing what I can with what I got.
Only problem is, who's got a lighter?
Bert does. How do you know? Oh, you're Bert. Damn right I am.
Okay, Whelpley, I'll give you that one. That is good writing because it's within character and is a solid joke. Take note, convenient plot boats and mattresses of earlier. Looks like it's time to test their invention on an incoming AB. They light that sucker up, resulting in a triumphant explosion of way too many dry guts from odd angles. Damn it, is that PA from part 2 back? Well, in any case, this hunting log edition gives us another great Bert line.
And that's why we're at the top of the food chain.
The next ass blaster attacks the trailer, comically knocking down Bert like a blood bucket at prom. Jodie takes charge and shoots the blaster from a second skylight. The ass blaster explodes in stuttery slow motion and takes out the side of the mobile home with it. All right, time to wrap things up. So just fire your arrow at that last one and yoo-hoo, miss balls.
Sons of bitches are always on a learning curve.
Yep, Hooked on Animatronics worked for them as Jack is attacked by the practical effects team. Bert and Jodie make sure Desert Jack makes it back by sticking a flaming spear right into the creature's tush. Ouchie! They take cover as the final ass blaster is added to our log. Oh, well, guess that's it for the movie, right?
23 hours, 59 minutes. Mission completed.
Oh shit.
Whoops, forgot about El Blanco. How the hell does that thing keep following Bert?
Watch.
Stop it, please! I'm begging you. Bert is knocked out of the trailer and lamely snagged on a mattress spring. But thanks to some quick feet and quick thinking from Desert Jack, the watch is turned into a dinner bell, which he reverse film sticks to the ass blaster that was crushed by the refrigerator earlier. The plan works and El Blanco gets a very spicy tossed salad for dinner, proving once and for all that graboids rule the earth. And are also fucking cannibals. The next day, there's an ass blaster on display at Chang's Market. It's the one Mindy and Nancy put into a food coma, and it's fetching boku bucks as they sell it to a couple of guys in Vegas.
Siegfried, Roy, he's all yours.
Time to wrap up our subpar romance plot with Jodie going along with Jack, who got a new job managing a car wash in Bixby.
Oh, he's in the bathroom.
Meanwhile, Bert finishes out the movie with that Melvin subplot I've been ignoring. That little wedgie's been trying to buy up all the land in perfection, but Bert tells him it's a no-go because El Blanco is still alive. And because it's the last of its species, perfection has been deemed protected territory. So the movie ends with Bert driving off to film 13 episodes of the sci-fi Tremors series in Mexico. Anything to add, Melvin?
God damn you, Bert! And I hate that hat!
Was the third course in this big long smorgasbord of a franchise as filling as the first two? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Oh, looks like El Blanco's here.
What the hell?
Still looks better than the CGI. Let's get to the numbers. Bixby! I'm late, aren't I? 5 people died in Tremors 3, all men, giving us a chart bluer than the language used to describe this new graboid evolution. With a runtime of 104 minutes, that gave us a kill on average every 20.8 minutes. Bert's hunting log adds 2 graboids, 7 ass blasters, and 71 shriekers. And I'm not counting any of the shriekers that evolved into ass blasters as they just shed their skin. Besides, 71 should be enough, you greedy bastards! And it gives us a perishing Precambrian every 1.3 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Buford, mostly because it's our only practical graboid kill. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Agent Statler and Rusk, who died off screen. Erlis's death was lame too, but at least he looks like he went a few rounds with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Bert's hunting trophy goes to the ass blaster blown up in the trailer. Thing died like Daffy Duck in a Looney Tunes cartoon. Seriously, it's ridiculous they went there. I love it. And that's it. Tremors 3 Back to Perfection came out in 2001, and while it has some good moments, it's a big step down from the first 2. The movie leads directly into the 13-episode show on Sci-Fi that I will only cover if it seems like there's an appetite for them. In the meantime, we'll be switching things up with a prequel set in the Old West. But until then, I'm a man who owns a Pomeranian named the Doctor. This has been the Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
The legend begins in the fantastically phenomenal 4th franchise film of Tremors. Return to a simpler time when movie executives said yes to random ideas.
Let's just put it in the Old West, and to my total shock, everybody said, oh, that's a great idea.
And filmmakers ditched the overused CGI of yesterfilms.
Dandy.
A true return to form with a return of a franchise mainstay.
It's Mr. Gummer!
But this ain't your great-grandfather's Burt Gummer. It's actually Burt Gummer's great-grandfather.
I feel I've not been privy to critical, most needful information.
And together with a quaint cast of kooky characters,
This is our army.
These are the only ones willing to go.
witness the origin of the graboid species.
Shells, eggs.
Then they came out of one big chicken.
Thrill at one man's struggle to keep his hat.
No one goes without a hat in China.
And see long-standing franchise expectations shot down like a hanging sausage.
You missed with a cannon!
This week, watch Michael Gross, Billy Drago, Michael Gross, a couple of graboids, Michael Gross, and Michael Gross in Tremors 4, The Legend Begins. Yeehaw! Then on Friday, February 25th, mosey on down for the kill count, only on Dead Meat.
This is it then. The end of rejection.
Tremors 4, The Legend Begins, can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platforms. Demi always recommends you watch the movie for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly informed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the experience of watching a film.
Thank you for watching and leaving all sorts of amazing comments. I mean, the support has been amazing. I said that last time. I'm going to say it again.
Xander been doing a good job with these kill counts still, for real though. So this next one's gonna be interesting. This next one will be interesting to watch, boy. It's gonna be a while since I watched that because they got the next poll as well as Return to Friday 13 recount, then the next poll, and then we'll be back to this. But Disney heads up, next week will be the redemption polls, and if I can try to remember the shows on there, the movies that's going to be in that redemption poll. We got what was the last one? So we're going to be featuring Tourist Trap, Sinister, Mayhem, Tourist Trap, Sinister, Mayhem. Keep going. Countdown and Blood Quantum. So, you know how the redemption poll goes. The winner of the redemption poll will be the viewed video. The lose one stays in the redemption poll until the next redemption poll, and the remaining ones will be back will be saved and freed. So, other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I was almost going to give up after 4 before it looks interesting, so let's see. How many of these get? I don't know how many Tremors they gonna have on here, but either way, it's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.